A very good morning and welcome back to Python Scripting for Data Sciences. Harness the power of Python, right? So we are going to start today with part number 5. Yesterday we saw many different things, and the first thing we saw yesterday was float conversions, integer conversions, and taking data as an input, right? And we saw that how can we manipulate inputs and outputs, right? And how can we manipulate strings, right? All right, so now if you know each and everything, what we have achieved so far, right? So it is going to be easy that if you have completed all the videos, you have understood all the videos, right? Even if you've understood 60-70%, so it's going to be better. You're not going to get 100%, right, at the first go. So that's not going to happen, right? But yeah, even if you've understood 50-60%, so that I reckon is going to be more than good, or more than sufficient for you guys, right? But what you need to do is practice, and practice. What is required? There are 3 things required to be a complete big developer, a professional and an advanced developer, which is patience, and patience. Number 1, patience. Number 2, patience, and number 3, patience. It requires good amount of patience to sit on a computer for longer duration of hours and trying to solve a problem. But yeah, still I'm very excited to get started with today's class, which is nothing but as that of list. We just finished string. I have not told you, I haven't described and defined each and everything about string, because after list, right, after we are done with list, I'll go back to string and then start comparing list and strings, and is the time when you're going to get each and everything, right? So we need to compare list with string, so that in order for better understandabilities, right? So let me open IDLE. Okay, so now we are going to start with list, and I said in order to understand string in a better way, we have to understand list, and in order to understand list in a better way, we have to understand string in a better way, right? And okay, this is your yesterday's class, right? My calculator. All right, so now let me go ahead and start manipulating and doing thing with lists. So how do you define list? List is basically, I'll just tell you, string, immutable, right, that you cannot change, list, mutable, right? So list is completely mutable in Python, whereas string is completely immutable in Python, that you already know. Now let me declare list. List is declared within square braces in Python. You can see these square braces. We use square braces to declare and define list in Python. So now it can have elements 10, it can have elements like 20, it can have elements like 30, it can have elements like 40, or 1 or 2, right? So this is now a list of things. Now you know that a variable, if I say num1, a variable can contain one value, right? It cannot contain 1, 1, right? No. If I say num1 or num is equal to 1, so num has taken, what do I do? If I say num is equal to 1, now if I print num has taken 1, but can I do something like this? Num is equal to 1, 2, right? Yes, we can do. But what is in num now? 1 has, now it has been converted to something else, right? So I'll tell you what it's been converted. It's been converted to tuple. But before we start with tuple, we are going to start with a list. That is the same case right here. Variable, a single variable cannot take more than 1 values. All right, single variable can never take more than 1 value. Num1 can either be 1, it can be 100, it can be 200. Now it cannot take more than 1 values, right? So the moment we give more than 1 values here, it becomes a list of numbers. Now list is basically a generic type. When I say it's a generic type, list can hold values of different, right, data types. So now list can hold values of different data types. A list can hold value which is float, a list can hold value which is string, right? So let me show you. This is called list with integer elements, right? So now if I say nums, and I do 2 things. Now I say first, I need to get the type of nums. What is the type of nums? And you mind if you print entire nums? 2 things. Number 1, print the type of nums and print nums. So now I will start running it. Hit F5. Now you can see the class is list, the type is list, and the list has 10, 20, 30, 40, 1 and 2. Now if I start comparing this result that we are getting right here, if I start comparing this with as that of what we learned yesterday, this is your yesterday's chart, it's still open with me, right? If you see that what we had learned yesterday was that you can see that it is also, right, string is a collection of characters wherein every character becomes eventually an item right here. The same is the case with list right here. Now the same is here, but lists, they do have more power than, you know, string or integer or maybe normal string. So this is list. Now what is it? So this is going to be list. Nums is the name of the list. Nums is going to be nothing but the name of the list, and this is going to be elements, which is 0, and 20 is going to be the first element, 30 is going to be the third element, 40 is going to be the fourth element, and 1 is going to be the fifth element, and 2 is going to be the sixth element of the list, right? So similar to string, but yeah, string is basically a collection of bytes in an array, right? It's a collection of bytes in an array. String is also an array, but collection of bytes. But you can here see, right? Now if I say, just like string, if I say I need to get nums 0, right? So now I can print, I'm getting 10. So 0 is 10. Was 10 0? Yes, 10th is the 0th position, right? So let me go and run it directly on shell so that you understand it in a much better way, right? So now nums, I can say, hey, give me nums. But yeah, I get nums. I say, hey, give me nums for first character. Then I get 20. The first is 20, 0th is 10. Now I can use the same things that I use, but hey, wait a second. Now can I do this? Nums 0 is equivalent to 100. Now this is called item assignment. This kind of item assignment was not supported in strings because string was immutable, right? And lists are mutable, that you can change. Immutable means that the state of the object cannot be changed after it's been made. Mutable means the state of an object or variable can be changed after it's made. Now I am targeting 0, right, which is 10, and I'm replacing with as that of 100. Now if I echo nums, if I print nums, you can clearly see it is mutable. It's being changed, unlike string, which is not changed, right? For example, if I say string, right, I'll just print out string. So I will say str is equivalent to hello, right? I can say I need str gives me hello, right? And it's as simple as anything. So str gives me hello. Now I'll say str0. What is str0? H. It's H. I can say str0, right, is equivalent to, means assign. Assign, instead of H, assign L to the position 0. Now we are getting an error. str object does not support item assignments. This is a clear-cut mistake. This is a clear-cut, you know why? Because it is immutable, right? Now in case of lists, I again go and paste my list. I am making a list which is nums. It has 10, 20, 30, 40, 1 and 2. I can say nums 0 is equivalent to 100. Now you can say no error, and you can say 100 is being replaced. So this is a clear-cut example of being mutable and being immutable, right? And what else can we do? Yeah, because now we have the luxury of doing each and everything here. Now since list is mutable, it can be changed. Now then list is mutable, we can append, we can insert, we can remove, we can pop, and let me show you everything one by one, right? And let me show you if I am having two lists. For example, nums is an integer type of list, right? So let me declare two lists now. For example, I have nums, integer type, and I have names, right? So I have nums and I have names. Names is now the string type, right? It is going to be a string type. Why? Okay, just a moment. So I just did a mistake right here. Fine. So now I have nums, and I say names is equivalent to a string type a list 1, 2, 3, 4. How many values? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me keep only 4, 5, 6 values, right? Now let me say countries. So I can say INDIA, India, and I can say Pakistan, right? I can say China, Afghanistan, right? USA, I can say UK. So now this is the list of countries. Now I have two lists, nums, which has numerical list, and I can have names, which has string-based names. Now can I join them? Right, I can join them easily. I can say list, or we can say num underscore, or we can say num names. I'm declaring a variable known as num names. I'll take both the things. This is the list. Can a list take list? Yes, list can carry lists as well. That means there can be list inside a list. Inside a list, there can be more lists and more lists, more lists. Now you can say num names is another variable declaration of type list. But this time, instead of having integer type elements and string type elements, I'm having two elements, an integer type array, another string type array. Now let me say num names. Now you can say num names is a multi-dimensional array. If I say now num names 0, and this is going to be num names 1, right? You have to understand it, right? If I say num names, what is this? This is a variable name. What is the 0th position of num names? This is this nums. This is 0th position, right? Now earlier the structure was like this. Now the structure is I have a list, num name, but this list is having two more lists. That means list has two more lists inside list. So this main list is num names, and this list right here is nums, and this list right here is names. Now if I say, hey list, I want you to give me, right, will you mind if you give me the 0th item? Now you can say 0 is the complete list, that is 10, 20, 30, right? I can say, hey num names, if you mind you give me 0th of 0th. Now you can get 10. Why are you getting 10? What is in position 0, right? So let me make you understand it this way. Okay, let me take it. Okay, now let us say what is happening here is you are taking these two things. So let me just clarify it just like this. All right. Okay, so let me just increase the size, right? And let me even take these two things so that we don't face any problem right here. All right. Okay. Now, all right. So now we can explain them in a more better way, right? So now this is nums right here, and this is the 0th position. I repeat, just like here, 0, 1, 3. Oh, I forgot 2. I don't know why have I forgotten 2. So let me rewrite them. Right, it's going to be 1. Right, it's going to be 0, and then 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4, and 5. So this is it. Right. So this is what we are having at this moment in time. So this is 5 is second, okay, 4 is 1, right, and 3 is 40, right. Okay, let me correct them right from the beginning. So I'm facing a huge problem here, right. All right, now we can see. So 10 is 0, 20 is 1, 30 is 2, 40 is 3, and 1 is 4, and this is the element. Element number 0, element number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Element number 0, so this is also here. Element number 0, right? Pakistan is element number 1. China is element number 2. Afghanistan is element number 3, USA is element number 4, and UK is element number 5. Now what I do right here, I say, hey, wait a second. You have 5 elements. Now I create another array, which is now basically a list, but it is going to be a multi-dimensional list here. I say num names, right? Instead of taking 2 values, now what does this have? Values. What does this list names have? Values. What type of values are here? You will say, sir, integer type values. What type of values are here? You will say str, which is string type values. Okay, fine. Now what does num names take? Num names take a list. Num names is a list, but the list, instead of taking values, is taking list. Nums goes here, num names goes here. So now the structure of list becomes like this, multi-dimensional. Right? Now it's as easy as anything, because list, how do you recognize whether it is a list or not? You recognize list just by those square braces. Now what is num name? It is a list. But what is inside this num names? It is another list. That means there are more 2 square braces. Nums is a list, names is a list. Is that understood? You'll say yes. Now what is this? Num names. Right? And what is this? This is the position 0 of num names. Right? You will say yes, sir, you are absolutely right. This is the position 0 of num names. And this array which is here is the position 1 of num names, right? So what is this? This is the same num name. So this is complete num names, right? So now what is inside num names? Right, inside num names, now let me expand this num names, right, like this. Okay, and let me expand it like this. Right, so this is 0 and this is 1. What is here? In this list, we are having nums. Nums is basically 10, 20, 30, 40. You can clearly see this has now 10, 20, 30, 40, 1 and 2. Right? So if you set your basics right, then everything is going to be inshallah perfectly all right. Now this is what is inside this list. And what is here? It is having these items right here, right? So it's as simple as anything. It's no hard or no rocket sciences involved here. It's very simple, right? That you have to understand the element position now, right? Now this is list and the 0th position is nums and the first position is names. Now what if I want to get 10? That means I have to target the 0th position of num names, which is nums, and again the 0th position of nums, which is 10. Right? So now if I say, hey, wait a second. What if I want to get nums? It is this. What if I want to get names? It is this. What? Please give me num names now. Num names has, you can see the clear thing. This is the first dimension, which has 2 dimensions, 1 and 2, right? So now what I do, I say out of nums, num names, please give me the 0th element. So 0th, as I said, 0th is going to be 10, 20, 30, 40 and 1. You're getting the same. I say, hey, I want the 0. That means you are now targeting the 0th element of the 0th position of array, right? So now what is 0th element? The list, which is integer type. And what is the 0th element of that integer type list? That is 10. So now I should get 10. I'm getting 10. Now in case I want India, what do I say? I say num names. I am targeting, right? Now which position is India in? Second position, that is 1. I'll say I need to get num names 1. Now you're getting India, Pakistan, China, Afghanistan, USA and UK. But say, hey, num names, out of num names 1, will you give me 1, which is Pakistan? Because India is 0, 1 is Pakistan. Now I get Pakistan. As simple as anything. And this is the fun and this is the real magic of Python and handling with mutable objects, right? And you can see the more magic with mutable objects, right? I'll show you a few more things regarding mutable objects today itself, right? And you should enjoy. Programming is meant to be enjoyed, right? Make it your passion, only then you'll become something big. Don't make it your liability. You yourself are making yourself liability rather than an asset. The moment you realize that you are an asset, not a liability, then and only then you're going to work hard to become an asset, right? As I said at the beginning of the class, that any wish that is not planned, or sorry, any ambition, right? I told you at the beginning of the lecture, maybe in lecture number 1, I told you already, any ambition that is not planned remains a wish. You have to plan this as well. If you don't plan, how do you carry on with Python? Right, by practicing it very hard and by utilizing the time. Those who cannot utilize time despite of being home and they're still not utilizing time, they are having some problem with the brain, right? So they need to rectify it, right? So those who are utilizing time and those who value time are the only people who are going to go ahead and become Python professionals. Each and everyone is going to become. Those who are patient, those who are consistent, and those who utilize time in a very proper way. And let me show you a few more regarding mutable Python, right? Okay, let's get going. I'll say now I have nums. Okay, I know that nums 10, 20, 30, 40, 1 and 2. I can say, hey nums, you mind if I append, right? I don't want to change. I don't want to change 10 to 20, 20 to 30. Now you saw I said, hey nums, I want to change position 2, which is 0, 1 to 30 to maybe 50, right? So it is done. So you say nums, since num is list is mutable, so 30 is being replaced with 50. But now I want to add a number at the end of list. For that I will say nums dot append. What this append does, it will go and append this at the end of the list, or we can say it will go and post it or paste it at the end of the list. That can be also done. Now if I say nums, now 50 is added at the end of the list again. Alright, I say nums dot append and I can say 100. 100 is now appended at the end of the list. Now you can see that, right? Now we can say nums dot insert. Now what is the difference between nums dot insert here? Now nums dot insert is going to take the position, right? Append is going to take the value and append it at the end of the list, right? But what is insert going to do? Insert is going to take the position. For example, if I give position 3, so I will say 3 is going to be 30. Now let us see what we have done. Nums has replaced, now add position 30, right? What is position 3? That is 0, 1, 2. And after 2, add position 3, that is between 50 and 40, it is going to insert 30. And that's exactly what it has done. Inserted 30, you can see, between 50 and 40. I repeat, the position 3, 0, 1, 2, and now the third position starts, right? That means add position 3, you are going to insert it. Position 3 is going to start after 50 and before 40. That is 0, 1, 2, and here it's going to be 30. Now that's what 30 is here. Now what is the difference between append? Append takes it at the end of the URL, and insert takes 2 arguments. Append takes 1 argument, which is the value itself, and insert, it's again a built-in function which takes 2 arguments, which is the element position and the value. This element position, this is value. Alright, and these are arguments that we're passing. Now can I do this? Nums dot remove. It's also inbuilt function. And what does the function nums dot remove take? It takes 1 argument, which is what do you want to remove. Alright, it takes just whatever you want to remove will be removed, but it is removed by value. You have to mention the name of the value. For example, I say I want to remove 50. Now you can say, if I say nums dot nums, now you can see this here, and you can clearly see 50 is removed. 10, 20, 50 was here, 50 is removed. Now remove is going to remove right by the value. That means it takes value as a parameter here. Now I'll give you the definition of all, right, at the end of the lecture. Right, I'll write it down for you. Okay, and now what about other things, right? Okay, let me just increase it for you. Okay, let me just increase a bit. All right, so now if I say nums dot pop, right, what is the difference between pop and remove? Pop is also going to remove, but yeah, pop is now going to take the last in first out. It basically depends on the last in first out. Whosoever has come last will be removed first. Now you can see it has removed last in first out, which is called as LIFO, right? I repeat, LIFO, which is last in first out. So if you say no, I want to remove a specific element, you'll say no, nums dot pop, and I'll say 1. Now you can see 20 is being popped out. You can even supply the element number. Now what is the difference between, you can say remove, right, and pop? Now pop takes the element number. What was at element number 1? 10, 20. That is 0 and 1. 1, if I say pop out 1, you have taken out 1 from position 1, which is 20. And pop returns back. Now you can say pop returns back the value it has removed, which is 20. In case of remove, if I say nums dot remove, now remove is not going to take the element value. It is by no means going to take the element value, right? It is going to take the value name. Like we have value 10, right? I can directly say remove 10. But if it is pop, I have to say 10 is at what position? 0. So then if it's pop, I'll have to say nums dot pop 0. Then and only then 10 can be removed. And you can say once I say nums dot remove 10, it has not returned anything back to me, right? If I enter nums now, I'll say 10 has been removed here. But yeah, it has not returned. Now if I say nums dot pop, right? I now specifically say I need to pop it out. Nums dot pop, and I'll say 0, 1. I want to pop it out from first position. I'm not giving value. Had it been remove, I have to give 40 then. It's pop, I'm giving element name, which is 0 and 1. So I'll say nums dot pop. Now you can see, unlike remove, which has not returned anything, pop is going to return us the element removed, right? You can immediately see nums dot pop 1 has removed 0, 1, 40, and it has returned 40. You can store it. You can say pop, you can say p is equal to nums dot pop. What do you want to pop out? I want to pop out 0, 1, 2, 3. I want to pop out the third element, right? Now it has popped out. Now if I say p, you can see 50 has been popped out, right? Right? So now here, if you don't say, if you say only pop, for example, if I say nums, now we have 3, 30, 1 and 2. If I say nums dot pop and I don't supply any argument right here, in case if I do not supply any argument right here, it is going to pop the last element, which is 2, right? You can clearly see it has popped out 2, and I'll say nums, it has 30 and 1. You have seen, right? And we can see different things using list, right? Just give me a moment. Someone is calling me. I'll be back in 5 minutes. All right, so now I suppose we have broke the fast and let's start fresh, and we hope you have understood everything right so far, right, regarding lists, right? And isn't it a fun working with lists, right? It is going to be a real fun working with lists, right? And now we were here that once we pop out, right, and once we I'll just give you the definition of all, right? What pop does, what remove does. So I'll post it, I'll make a sketch and post it in your group, right? And let's continue. For example, now I have nums. It is an array, right? Or we can say it's a list, right? And the list has 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. And if I say nums, yeah, right. Now what if I want to delete all that come after 2? So I say, hey, got to start with 2, and whatever you find after second, 2 means 0, 1 and 2. Whatever you find after 2, just go and delete it. Now you can see, delete nums. You call the nums first before you call delete. You call the nums, which is your list, and you pass argument that delete You want to delete nums from 2 to everything. Now if I see nums, everything after 2 is deleted, right? From 2, not after 2, from 2. 0, 1, right? 0 and 1 is here. 2 is deleted, 3 is deleted, and so on and so forth. Everything that follows 2 is also deleted, right? This is how we handle, we can say nums. Now, can we do something like this? Let me just make a new nums, reassign value to nums, and nums has 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Now can we extend? If I have a list and now I want to extend the list, I'll say nums.extend. Now I can extend the list and I can say now I want to pass another list here. I will pass 70, 80, 90, right? Or maybe 100, right? So this is how what we can do. The moment I say extend, now if I see nums, it has been extended from 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 to 70, 80, 90, 100. Now you can see we have a big list right here, right? And now if you want to sort, for example, if I make nums a list, right? And that list has 100, it has 90, it has 80, it has 20, it has 10, it has 40, right? And it has 30, right? 10, you can see 10, 20, 30, 40, it has 50, right? And it has 70, right? It has 60, right? So now if I print nums, it is not sorted. Now if I sort it, 10 should come first, and then 20 should come, then 30 should come, then 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. And for that we have a function, right? And we use that function as this. I say nums, which is the list name dot sort. The moment I sort, now sort is used as a function here, it's an inbuilt function. The moment I say nums dot sort, sorry, then if I say nums, I get the sorted values. Now you can say that it is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, which was not sorted before, is now sorted, right? What else can we say? Hey, I want minimum. Can you show me the minimum of nums? Which one is minimum? Then you get 10 is the minimum in the list. You want to say, hey, min max. I want to say max. I want to get max of nums, and you get that maximum is 100. Now if you want to get the sum of, let's say, about 100 plus 90 plus 80 plus 70, if you want to get that sum, min, max and sum, you can even create that sum. So what is min? It's an inbuilt function of Python. I repeat, it's an inbuilt function of Python taking one argument. What is max? Inbuilt function of Python taking one argument. What is sum? It is inbuilt function of Python taking one argument, right? So now if I say I need to get sum, now sum is 550. Now you calculate them, 100 plus 90 plus 80, you'll get the total sum, which is going to be 550. And this is how we deal with different lists right here, right? We can add multiple values, right? We can sort them. We can this is the pleasure and this is the luxury that lists provide us, right? And see, there's going to be a fun working with lists because we just started with basics of list. See, when we move towards the advanced side of the lists, it is going to be a real fun. So now, if I create this list, I'll say nums is equal to, for example, I create a string type list, right? For example, it is going to be, let me call this as countries is equal to something, right? Alright, so now if I go ahead and seek and I say that countries has India, it has China, it has Pakistan, right? It has Afghanistan. Now this is called as, if I say I need to print, now let me print. Print is a function that takes one parameter, or it can even take two parameters. Now it has printed this, right? India, China, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. What if now I want something else, right? Because it is a single dimensional array. What is it? It's a single dimensional list, right? if I say something like this, let me show you. If I say now I want to create an array which is multi-dimensional, right? For example, I want to create a list which is multi-dimensional. Let me show another example. I say nums is equal to 10 and 20, right? And if I print nums, it is still going to be a single dimensional array. Now, how do you create multiple dimensional arrays? Now, I will say nums is equal to, I declare this array and pass two elements here. Now, we have two elements in an array. Now, you can see, now we can pass 10, 20, 30, 40. And here, I can create a string type, all right? And I can pass, let's say I can pass India, Pakistan, USA, and UK. I'm passing countries here, right? So now it says list indices must be integers or slices, not tuples. Now this is what you have to say. For example, if I create nums and I say it is going to be a multi-dimensional array. Okay, I did not use comma here, sorry. So let me use comma here, okay. So let me redeclare it. And yeah, this is one dimension, comma, other dimension. Now let me see nums. Nums is a multi-dimensional array, or we can say it's a two-dimensional array. Right, you can clearly see it's basically extending from the dimensions right here. Now you can have as many dimensions as you want in an array, right? In a list rather. A list is also an array, right? And now what I can do for you guys here, for example, I have students, right? I can create students a list. So I can say one dimension, right, and second dimension, right? Or I can create one dimension and I can create two dimensions inside this dimension. That is also possible. But yeah, let me create my name, right? And let me create another which is going to be contact numbers, right? So let me say 94194411234. This is my contact number 9086441234. I have another student, for example, as Salim, right? So now it is a multi-dimensional array. If I print students, I get Fahim and Salim. But if I want the phone number of Fahim, say, but if I want to query it, right, I can say, hey, I am targeting students, right? But I am targeting the 0th element of students and I am targeting the 0th student. Now, you can see students is an array. And the 0th element is going to be the complete array, which is Fahim and Salim, two elements. Now, what is 0 of 0? 0 is this complete, and 0 of 0 is Fahim. 1 of 0 is Salim. So I said I need 0 of 0, so I should get Fahim. But what if I want to say, let's say I will use print, because print can take two arguments right here. I need to get students 0 of 0, and I also want to get students 1 and 0. Now what am I targeting here? I say out of the students list, give me 0, which is this complete array, right? And give me the 0 of 0, which is Fahim, and go to students, right? And give me 1. 1 is going to be this position of array, because the list that we are using at this moment in time is multi-dimensional. So I am targeting the 0th dimension, this dimension, and now when I say first dimension, it goes to another list and takes the 0th element out, which is this phone number. All right, and now if I print it, okay, spelling mistake perhaps. Yeah, I'm very bad at spelling. students, students. Now I get Fahim has this phone number, right? And I can repeat the same. I can say, hey, I need to get it for Salim. Salim is the first element of 0th array. So our list is the first element, right? You can see this. Go to 0, which is going to be this complete array, and go to 1. 1 is going to be Salim. His phone number is this. And then I say 1 of 1, which is going to be the first element, and the first element of the list which is at first element, right? I will get Salim in 908441234. So now this is how you play with different lists. For example, I say students is equivalent to a list, right? I can say now Fahim, right? And I can go ahead and create, or we can say this here is having another dimension, right? And inside here we are having 2 dimensions. So now the complete array, the 0 of array, the 1 of array, right? And now here we can say 0 of 0, right? 1 of 0, 2 of 0. Here I can say 0 of 1, 1 of 1, 2 of 1. Now you can clearly see. If I say students, now I want to get students, but yeah, I want to get 0, 0. So I'll get 0. Right? If I say 0, 1, I'll get 1. If I say 0, 2, I'll get 2. If I target another, I'll say 1, 0, 1, 1, and 1, 2. So this is how we work with lists in Python. And you have to remember that lists in Python are completely what? They are completely mutable. That means the value can be changed. You can modify the value, you can change the value as per your own expectations, right? And whatever you want to do with the list, it can be done with lists, right? And let me give you a few more definitions of it. As I said, okay, let me just create it right here for you. What did I say so far? Lists in Python, right, are mutable, right? Mutable means object value after assignment, or object value after assignment can be changed, right? So that means we can say item assignment is supported in lists. Now, what is the definition of lists, right? Lists are, now definition is already given here, right? List indices must be integer or slices, right? So lists in Python, right, are collections, C-O-L-L-E-C, collection of different values of different types, right? So they are list in Python is collection of different values. Now, if I say num is equal to 100, so it is variable. Why? Because it contains only one value. Now, if I say nums is equal to list, for example, 10, 20, 30, so it's a single dimension list, right, with multiple values, right, and being stored at a single location. This is how we, we can say translate, and this is how we call list, right? And some of the functions in list which are most important. What are those important functions in a list? So I'll just give you idea of what are those. So I'll just carry on with them. The first thing that I have shown you, nums dot append, right? So you can say 50, right? And what else have we seen? I will tell you remaining things about this as well. We have seen nums dot append. Let me increase it a bit. Number 2, we did see nums dot insert, and I said it is going to take 2 parameters, right? Okay, then we saw nums dot remove, right? For example, 80. Then we saw nums dot pop. Then we saw nums dot pop and a parameter being passed to the pop. And then we saw delete, right? We saw delete also in nums, didn't we? Yeah, we saw that delete. We deleted some lists in Python, And we saw that what is the difference between delete and what is the difference between pop, and we did see that as well, right? And we said that we are going to delete nums and maybe first parameter. So this is how we are going to delete. Or we saw delete nums everything starting from 2. Delete everything starting from 2. And we saw one more thing. Okay, let me just... Okay, we saw one more thing, which is nums dot extend. We extended, right, an array. For example, you want to extend 50, 60, 80, 90, so that we can extend an array, or we can extend a list, right? And then we saw more things, so let me just put those things from here. We saw nums dot sort, right? We saw nums dot what did we see after that? We saw minimum of nums. We saw max of nums. We saw sum of list, right? So this is what we saw so far, right? And let me just give them a name. 8, 9, and then we have 10, we have 11, we have 12, right? And we have... Okay, this is what we have learned so far, right? So append is going to... What does append do? Right, place the value at the end of the list. So it's going to place the value at the end of list, right? And then we saw another thing, nums dot insert, right? Insert takes 2 parameters, right? Position, right, which is either 0 or 1, and value. Now I want to insert 89 at position number 2. That's why I said, all right, nums dot remove 80, right? So removes by value, you can say removes by value, right? The value, it goes and searches for 80. If it finds, and deletes it, right? Value and pop. When no parameter is passed to pop, what pop is going to do, right? Last in, first out, right? It is going to apply LIFO, all right? So POP as pops out the last item, right? That's the last in is going to be the first out, as long as this pop is concerned. And then we had pops with argument, right? So takes the element position, right, and also returns the popped item. It returns the popped item, all right, value, all right. So whatever you pop out, it's going to return. So deletes also, right? So we can say tell takes the element position also, but it does not return, right? It does not return what it has deleted. And now we have this, which is del 2. Now what it does, it deletes, right, starting from 2, right? Or deletes all starting from 2, right? Extend, as the function defines, is going to extend your array. Sort is going to sort, and you know this, right? So I have made a mistake here, so let me correct my mistake. Okay, because I just made a mistake here. Right, so now what is going to happen in nums? Alright, so it is NUM as nums. Alright, so now what is going to happen here? Sort is going to sort, minimum is going to show the minimum value available in the list, maximum is going to show the maximum, and sum is going to add all the values. Let me take a look at the timings. Right, so timings is perfect. We still have some 2 or 3 minutes remaining. So that is list. This is just the basics of list. I mean, we have ample amount of things that we can yet perform by lists, right? List is going to be a magic as we carry on with the classes, and we move ahead with all the classes, and in the concurrent classes you're going to find lists very interesting, and you're going to get that luxury, right? You're going to get those tools that a software developer requires at his disposal. So all those tools, and among all the tools, list is going to be the priority for you. All right, so I would like to wind up my today's class, and I want you to answer those questions now. And I said that I am not in front of you. If you are very serious learning, let your instructors be very serious, because I cannot see you. It's my prime duty to see and to make you guys interesting, or increase that amount of interest you have in the class. And in order for me to know that you're watching, you are serious, you're passionate, right? You are champions. Please and please answer, so that I also come to know that you are very aspiring, and I will make better content for you guys, right? And you have to, because your instructors are doing very well amid this lockdown and in this Ramadan, right? It's your prime duty to encourage them, right? Okay, fine then. So I am going to ask 2 questions regarding tomorrow's topic, all right? Define arrays in Python, all right? Second question, you have to Google it. Only when you Google it, you will post your answers, but please filter your answers. Try and read them and filter them, and then post within. I need answer in 1 or 2 lines, maybe 3 lines at max. Now, what is a tuple? What is a tuple in Python, right? And is tuple mutable or immutable? Now you have to Google. It's just a 1 question. Define arrays in Python, single line answer, 2 line answer. What is a tuple, right? The moment you answer tuple, and I need to find whether that Tuple, whether the tuple that we are going to use, because the next class is going to be about tuples. Now if you read it and then come, it's going to be very easy for me to teach you guys, and you are helping yourself alongside I helping you. You're also started to help yourself. So now define what is an array in 1 or 2 lines, and what is a tuple in 1 or 2 lines. And now yes or no, is tuple mutable or immutable? Immutable is something that cannot be changed. We saw that we cannot change the string. Mutable is something whose state can be changed, or we can say item assignments are possible in mutable things, just like list is mutable. And see how many things are we able to do with mutable things. But strings were immutable. We were not having the luxury of handling or doing much more with strings, right? So now you have to answer in a single line. Is tuple mutable or immutable? That's it. And I expect each and everyone to answer and listen to your instructors, right? And I wish you all the best, and please answer at an earliest, so that I can, while recording the next lecture, I go through those and I basically quote your answers. That is going to help you understand, other students understand in a better way. I wish you all the best. See you tomorrow. Bye bye. Take care of yourself.